Have you ever stopped to wonder how a country with millions of people, thousands of buildings, and endless roads actually keeps track of all its money and assets? Well, it's a colossal task. Today, we're diving into a massive financial makeover in Malaysia. It's a change that touches pretty much everything, from the highways you drive on to the public hospitals you visit. We're talking about something called MPSAS, the Malaysian Public Sector Accounting Standards. So let's really think about that question. For a country like Malaysia, you've got these huge, iconic projects, this sprawling infrastructure. How do you truly know what your financial health is? For a long, long time, that picture wasn't nearly as clear as you'd think. It was almost like trying to find your way around with only half a map.
You see, for years, the public sector used a system that was a bit like just looking at your bank account. You see money come in, you see money go out. That's the old way you see on the left. It's simple, yeah, but it's also missing a huge part of the story. The new way, which is accrual accounting, is more like getting a complete financial health report. It doesn't just look at the cash. It tracks everything the government owns, everything it owes, and all the financial promises it has made for the future. It's the difference between just knowing what's in your wallet today and knowing your actual net worth. So, to really get our heads around this huge shift, we've got a little roadmap for today. First, we'll take a look at this new financial rulebook. Then we're going to decode what's actually inside those 42 standards. We'll figure out who has to follow these new rules. We'll look at the real-world impact for Malaysia. And then, the big one, why this actually matters to you. Ready? Let's get into it. All right, Section 1, a new financial rulebook. You've got this massive, complex problem of national accounting. So how do you even begin to solve it? Well, you start by building a really solid foundation. And that solution is MPSAS, the Malaysian Public Sector Accounting Standards. The easiest way to think about it is like the official financial playbook for the entire public sector in Malaysia. It's built on that full-story accrual method we just talked about, and really importantly, it's designed to align with the best financial practices from all around the globe. So just how big is this new rulebook? Well, there are 42 individual standards. And I know what you're probably thinking right now. 42? That sounds like a lot. But don't worry, you definitely don't need to be an accountant to get this. The real beauty of MPSAs is that those 42 rules aren't just some random list. They're all logically grouped together into clear, easy-to-understand themes, which makes the whole thing much, much easier to digest. Which brings us perfectly into Section 2, decoding the standards. So let's pop the hood and really see what this new engine is all about. Okay, now this is where it all starts to click. Those 42 standards are all neatly organized into these 7 core categories. You've got rules for general reporting, for handling assets and liabilities, for recognizing revenue. Then there's group accounting, which is for state-owned businesses, rules for employee benefits, the really complex stuff like financial instruments, and then a few other specialized standards. It's a framework that truly covers all the bases. Let's start with that first one, general financial reporting. You can think of these as the fundamental rules of the game. They spell out exactly how financial statements need to be presented so that everything is consistent and transparent. They cover how cash flow is reported, and this one is huge. They force a direct comparison between what the government budgeted versus what it actually spent. I mean, for public accountability, that is a total game changer. Next up, assets and liabilities. This is where the numbers start to feel really tangible. These standards cover how we account for the physical things we see every day, right? The hospitals, the roads, the schools. But it also covers the invisible stuff, like software licenses. And of course, it provides crystal clear rules for tracking the big one, the national debt. And what about all the money coming in? Well, the revenue recognition standards lay out the rules for that. It gets broken down into 2 main types. There's money from exchange transactions, which is basically like selling a service, and then money from non-exchange transactions. That's where things like your taxes and government grants fit in. It's all about making sure every single ringgit is accounted for in the right way. So, we've got this really comprehensive rule book, but who actually has to follow it? That brings us right to Section 3. And the scope here is just massive. MPSAS applies to the entire public sector, from the very top all the way to the bottom. We're talking the federal government, every single state government, all the various statutory bodies, and even your local city or town council. This is a truly nationwide financial revolution. And the official body behind all of this? That would be the Accountant General's Department of Malaysia, or the AGD. They are the guardians of this new financial framework. They're the ones responsible for creating, issuing, and overseeing all 42 of these standards. Okay, so let's move on to Section 4 and talk about the payoff. After all of this work, what are the actual real-world benefits for Malaysia?
The outcomes are really a powerful 1-2-3 punch. First, you get incredible visibility into everything the government owns and owes. With that newfound clarity, you get the second benefit, way smarter decision-making. Imagine a state trying to decide between building a new clinic or fixing old roads. The old system just shows you the immediate cash cost, but MPSAS, it shows the long-term maintenance cost of that clinic versus the economic damage from having bad roads. It leads to better choices. And finally, number 3, it brings Malaysia's public finances in line with global best practices, which really boosts its credibility on the world stage.
And that brings us to our final and honestly most important section. Why does any of this matter to you? Because at the end of the day, these aren't just numbers on some government spreadsheet. This is about your money, your community, and your future.
So, what's the ultimate goal here? The whole mission? It really boils down to this: strengthening transparency, accountability, and fiscal responsibility. It's not just about doing accounting better, it's about building a solid foundation of trust between a government and its people. And this right here is the final crucial connection. When you have better accounting, you get a crystal clear picture of how public funds, your tax money, are actually being used. And that clarity allows for smarter planning, less waste, and ultimately more efficient public services for all of us. Better roads, better schools, better healthcare. It all starts with getting the numbers right. So we'll leave you with this thought. By moving from what was kind of a blurry snapshot to a high-definition 360-degree view of its finances, Malaysia has given itself an incredibly powerful tool, a tool for building a better, stronger future. The real question now is, with this newfound clarity, what will that future look like?